people don't know what exactly investment banking is. So if you could just break down in simple language, what do investment bankers do?
Investment banking, in simple words, is just like a elite dalal. One company wants to sell, one company wants to buy. We just have to make them meet.
Any deal that you remember which was very challenging for you?
We scouted around 150, 200 companies. We worked for like a couple of months on that, and the company denied us, saying that we would not like to acquire. Now we have some different plans.
What are some challenges that someone could face when they get into the industry?
Banking outside the world, people are just associated with that big name. Oh, he's in investment banking, investment banker is that. Real world is completely different. Every day is full of rejection.
One thing people misunderstand about investment banking.
It's a very fancy job. It's not like that, and there'll be a lot of rejection.
What 3 skills are the most important if someone wants to get into IB?
Getting your basics right. Secondly, financial modeling is one thing which I feel is very overhyped.
Most of the viewers would be waiting for this question, like what would be a realistic expectation for someone who's entering as an analyst in a boutique investment bank?
For a boutique firm, I would say in the fixed component anywhere between 8 to 15.
And this is including your variable or variable
No,
is
fixed. That can go like right from 0 to 100%.
Today we are joined by Deepam Gala, who currently works as an investment banking associate at Inga Ventures, where he works across M&A, private equity, supporting deal execution and client advisory. What genuinely stood out for us was how he navigated his career from audit, GRC, corporate finance, and then working in valuation to then entering into front-end investment banking at this boutique investment bank at very early stage of his career. In this podcast, we are going to understand about Deepam's investment banking journey, how he moved from audit, corporate finance to investment banking, what are some of the deals that he has worked in this industry, and some of the real investment banking insights and step-by-step approach which you can start applying in your career and get into investment banking. So really excited to have you here, Deepam. Thank you for joining for Bankers Mindset podcast.
Thanks, Karan, for having me. Looking forward to it.
Amazing. So yeah, guest will be really excited to listen to your insights, your journey about investment banking. So we had discussed in the introduction that we are going to go through your journey, some real investment banking related experiences which most people don't know out there, like jo graduation वगैरह कर रहे, so they are not aware about what's happening in the industry. So we'll try to break down everything. So be ready to give your best, go as detailed as you want, right? So we want people to get some practical insights that they can implement and get started in their investment banking journey. So let's start with your journey, like your entry into investment banking. So break down like what are the steps that you took and how did you enter into investment banking?
So during my undergrad time, like we were in the COVID period at that time. I did not get a real college life, to be honest, 2 years under lockdown. So that time I was evaluating different career choices in finance. Like CA was something which I did not want to do. I was pretty sure about. So I was just knocking around here and there. And that time I came to know about stock markets and how do they operate and everything. So in that I used to try a lot of things. I started with trading, maybe investments, for mutual funds, fund management, versus I tried to see a lot of options, and then I narrowed down into investment banking because all of the other things, they become very monotonous. Wherein as an investment banker, every day is different. You get to analyze new companies, new management, something different every day. So that is how I got into investment banking.
Okay, makes sense. So, like if someone who's watching, right, and he's also confused with lot of information available online, and people don't know what exactly investment banking is. So if you could just break down in simple language, what do investment bankers do, right? But you worked in the industry, so just break down what services they provide and what an investment banker, when he enters into the industry, what will be his work roles and responsibility.
Well, investment banking, in simple words, is just like a elite dalal, you can say.
Okay.
Wherein you just have to take the companies to different people who have the funding, and they get as investment bankers we provide companies with funding or M&A जो होता है. So in that one company wants to sell, one company wants to buy. We just have to make them meet. That's it. So that is basically what investment bankers do, make two people meet. So that's why a dalal.
Elite dalal. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of a brokerage only, but with high stakes kind of an environment, right?
Correct.
You're not meeting people like retailers or right. So what are the clients that these investment bankers serve, right?
We cater to huge corporates or any big company who's looking to get listed or looking to raise funds or is wanting to acquire a company or get themselves acquired. These are the basic targets whom we cater to. We also cater to PE funds and VC funds and all, but now that market has developed so much that investment banking role in the PEVC fundraising has narrowed down.
Mm-hmm. Like what do you mean by narrow down in P or
There
VC?
are a lot of PE/VC funds too, which are actively on their own only searching for a lot of opportunities. So as an investment banker, our role really narrows down because they only go and approach these companies.
So they're directly doing these deals
Yeah.
and not wanting investment bankers to take their stake out of it,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Correct.
Makes sense, makes sense. So now coming back to your profile, like we understood what investment bankers do. So you worked in audit, like you started in audit, you moved to GRC, right? And then you did internship in corporate finance. So how did these all internships help you in investment bank, getting into investment bank?
I was just trying out different things during my college period. So in that time, I came across these internships, wherein the first internship was not internal audit, not
Okay.
just our regular statutory audits and all. Because in that, it is just an overview where you are just checking things whether they are right or wrong. Whereas in internal audit, you are diving down into the business, checking each and every aspect, which becomes more critical. So there, a deeper level of business understanding is created.
Right.
Then after that, I moved into due diligence, which was the next step, which
Correct.
I felt like audit was not my cup of tea. So I went
Makes
into
sense.
due diligence, wherein I also worked on valuations in that.
Okay.
So there, it was just like a support thing for investment banking, wherein suppose a deal is finalized. After that, whatever I have committed, by my EBITDA is 10%. These are my sales. 60% sales come from X market. So in the DD part, that guy will check whether whatever statements you've made is correct or not, and based on that, then the valuation gets tweaked and everything. So that was like a stepping stone or the outer circle of the investment banking industry.
Mm-hmm. Right, right. So, I mean, is it compulsory to get internships into these kind of roles to get into investment banking, or any kind of internship would be a good thing to just step a foot into IB?
If you get into an internship in the IB industry, that is nothing like it. But anything around that, due diligence or taxation advisory in M&A or something like that, that is also a step forward into entering investment banking.
Makes sense, makes sense. So now, I mean, lot of people approach. I mean, you would be getting a lot of DMs on LinkedIn. Can you help me with internships, something like
Yeah.
that? I get n number of DMs on daily basis. So people are struggling to find these internships online, right? There are so many platforms available out there, but most of them complain that I'm not getting any internships through it. So how did you approach internships? Did networking help you in doing that? So if you could just break down two things, like how does one find internship, and does networking help?
For your first internship, I would say try everything out: networking, your college placements, any other courses which you have, courses which offer placements, anything like that. Because my first internship, I landed it through our college's course, which they were offering something tied up with ICAI, and through that, I landed the internship. So that
Okay.
is how I got into that internal audit part. There, I networked and everything, and I came to know that in the same firm, there is an opening in the corporate finance department. So
Okay.
through the networking, I went into that part. So I would say for your first internship, do everything, but then for the second one, networking would be better, I would say.
Right. So how do you suggest one should do networking, right? Like right now, a lot of people directly reach out. They say, I need internships. I have done XYZ, and they ask for a referral. Right. You know for
Yeah.
a fact, I know for a fact, no one is directly going to refer someone if they don't know. So how should one actually do networking?
Currently, though, there are a lot of networking events and all which are happening. And if not that, if you are in one company where you can actually, you're doing an offline internship, you can go and talk to different people and build your network there. Just don't directly go and ask, can you refer? Can you put the CV forward? Is there any opening? Try to build a rapport first.
Yeah. So how does one do that? Like how does one create a rapport with other person?
Well, if you're face to face, then you can just talk about what do they do, what you're doing, where do you come from, any similar interests, and then come down to your real goal.
Makes sense, makes sense. So that's the step that most people lack, right? They directly
Try to
jump
make
onto
some
the second.
small talk.
Right, right, right. Initiating that
Yeah,
small
yeah.
talk, understanding about the other person, and then you put in your whatever
Yes,
value
yes.
you want from them.
Correct.
Makes sense, absolutely correct. So now coming to your investment banking journey, right? You started in a boutique investment bank, right? So how does a boutique investment bank operate, and how is it separate from the bulge brackets that most people would be knowing, like a Goldman, Morgan Stanley? So how are these two different, and why did you start in boutique?
So, me starting in a boutique bank was my deliberate choice because in a boutique bank, the team size is very lean.
Right.
So, you get to perform each and every aspect of the deal, right from deal origination to deal execution. Everything you are a part of. Wherein if you go to some bulge bracket banks or something, there you're just stuck to one specific role. You
Right.
don't get to do anything else. You don't even know where the deal is at that point of time.
Okay, makes sense.
So that was my reason to get into a boutique bank. In a boutique bank, what we typically do, like I said, from deal origination to execution, I try to talk to the client, I get buyers or sellers, whoever is there, engage into initial discussions, then valuations and etc. So I am a part of everything. Here I can also, in the start of my career, I can also see that whether I want to do this thing, that thing, etc. Like I want to focus on valuations, I want to be a front end guy. I will come to know all of that also.
Makes sense.
So after that, if I jump into a bulge bracket or something, it would make a lot of more sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right. And you mentioned that in boutiques, you get to be a part of everything, right? So how is it separate from bulge bracket? Like what happens in a bulge bracket bank?
To my limited knowledge, what I feel is in the bulge bracket banks and whatever I've spoken to my friends, they are generally limited to any one specific role or one specific aspect of the deal. Like suppose I'm in the valuations team, so I will just do the basic research and everything and value that company. After that, what multiples are the sales guys taking to the company? When is the deal getting closed? At what valuation? I will not be aware of.
Makes sense, makes sense. Okay, so Deepam, coming back to boutique investment bank, what does an associate's day-to-day responsibility look like, right? What do they work? I know that they are not going to work same things on a daily basis because it's a very dynamic role, but if you could just give, depending upon deal cycles, like what is the work?
So I'll break it down into two parts. One is deal origination, second is deal execution.
Okay.
As an associate in a boutique bank, I am doing both the aspects throughout from deal origination to deal execution.
Okay.
Firstly, in deal execution, the thing is that when we actually have a deal, live deal, which we are working on, therein we speak to potential targets, investors, acquirers, whoever it is, gauge their initial interest, etc. Apart from that, we have to prepare IMs, financial modeling, do the valuation analysis from our part, each and everything. This is the initial part. Once the conversations move forward, there is something of interest. Then we move to the term sheet and due diligence stage.
Okay.
So there we prepare the term sheet and everything, and we assist in the due diligence process, wherein overseeing that, making tweaks in the valuation after the due diligence, etc.
Right.
All of that.
Makes
So
sense.
that is a deal execution
Part. Okay.
Now coming to deal origination is wherein there is some activity in a certain sector.
Okay.
So you would also like to tap into it.
Makes sense.
So there you would typically find companies who are willing to sell or buy, gauge, come to know what they are looking for, and then maybe work on that.
Right.
So that is how it then moves to deal execution.
Okay, so how do you source a deal?
So for any connects who come to us directly, so that is the best thing.
That's like typical investment banking. Like you build your network and people come to you for their services that you provide.
Correct.
But if you don't have that network, right, how do you source a deal? So suppose someone at an associate position, they might not have that network, right? So what was your process to build your network to get these deals sourced for your firm?
I typically keep an eye on everything that is happening around, tracking listed companies, reading the newspaper, going through articles, etc. There you come to know a lot of things. Like basically now, if I take the pharma hospital sector to be precise, everybody is acquiring, be it the big companies, some PE funds or everything.
Right.
So there I know there's a lot of activity happening. So then I can go and directly approach those guys. Okay, are you guys looking to sell? Are you looking to buy? If yes, what is your criteria? And then based on that, I will start searching for companies who fit their criteria.
Makes sense.
So that is how one can approach if they don't have a network.
Right. So reading news and going
Staying
through
aware, staying up
what's
to date.
happening, which industry is
Yes.
growing, which industry is getting consolidated. So these kind of analysis is going to be very helpful to source deals. Now,
Apart
once
from that, also you can also check companies' balance sheets or something when they are cash heavy, growth has stopped or something. Inorganic growth is something which they would look for after that.
Makes sense.
That is a long shot, but you can definitely give it a try.
Got it. Now, once you find a company, okay, this company is a good target that we can approach and have a discussion. Now, whom do you reach out to? Is it directly the founding level team? Because if we talk about big companies, no one is going to directly have an interaction. So how do you approach these companies and get that knock into the conversation?
in big companies, generally everything has been allocated to someone or the other. So for
Okay.
our thing, you either have a strategy team or an M&A team in big
Hmm.
conglomerates or big companies.
Hmm.
If not, you can approach the finance team, the CFO, or any particular director also. There's no problem in that as well.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And you need to be very active in doing follow-ups. I assume, right? Because
Yes.
these guys are very busy,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you don't need to lose hope when you are reaching out and like
You
so.
can never lose hope because this is something you just have to keep trying. This is not a priority for them. Like they
Right.
operating their business, their day-to-day activities, that is more important. This is something which is value add. So
Right.
this is always on the back burner for them. You just have to keep trying, keep connecting with them again and again, remind them. That is
Makes
how
sense.
it goes.
Okay, okay. So what's the hit ratio? Like if you are working upon, let's say 10 deals at a point of time, how many deals go through? Like how many M&As or fundraising deals get completed? Because it's very fancied that if investment bankers are working upon a deal, every deal is going to get done, right? So if you could just
It's
break that
very less.
reality.
It's in single digits, I would say, because it can fall off at any time. You cannot
Right.
predict promoters. They would
Hmm.
till it's not signed, it's not done. Is what I
Right.
would say.
Right. Okay, makes sense. So, if you could just mention some of the transaction, I mean, if it's not confidential, right? Which you worked upon, and which sectors were you more focused when you were getting, like, when while you are working in this industry?
I have been majorly focused in the manufacturing side, wherein
Mm-hmm.
I have been tracking and tracking a lot of manufacturing companies as well as working on a lot of them. So
Mm-hmm.
that is something which particularly interests me because again, manufacturing is never going to die down. At the end of the day, no matter how much tech businesses come out,
Mm-hmm.
they need some product, some physical commodity. So
Mm-hmm.
that manufacturing is always going to stay.
Right. Okay. And any transactions that you can talk about?
Well, the best thing was the IPO which we did.
Okay. Okay.
That
Which
was
come?
2 years back, Transrail Lighting. Apart from that,
Mm-hmm.
a few fundraising activities and a few M&As, but that did not pan through.
Okay, okay. So any deal that you remember which was very challenging for you, right? I mean, you put in a lot of efforts and then uh, it went through or it did not went through, but you learned a lot from it. So does that any deal ring bell in your mind when
So
we talk about
one
it?
big conglomerate had given us their criteria. Okay, well, these are the things what I am looking for. We have been trying to approach a lot of people who've been fitting in that criteria. We scouted around 150 200 companies for that particular company only. And
Okay.
when we finally got some two good credible targets of good size, the company denied us saying that we would not like to acquire now. We have some different plans.
Okay.
So we worked for like a couple of months on that, and at the end, when we got a credible seller, they were like, "We don't want to acquire only."
Oh. But I mean, these kind of deals would give you a lot of learnings, but yeah, when it does not go through, it kind of feels demotivating, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes, like you put in so much effort. So, how do you
Yes.
cope up with that, right?
It's part and parcel. You cannot do anything. It's just that maybe if that seller is credible, he does not have a banker, he's willing to sell, then maybe you can approach him and then take a mandate from him, work for him, scout for
Huh.
other buyers. That is
Right.
one part. And if
Correct.
not, you have at least built a network. Maybe someone else is looking for it. You can
Makes
always
sense.
approach him.
Right, right. So I've heard like bankers never give up, right? So they have this mindset of finding a way to like they are proper salesmen, right? So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they have gotten any deal with which is there for them, then they will try to make sure that it is given the best value from their end.
Yes, completely. You have to try it.
Right, right. Because they have been putting so much high stakes,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
by providing you entire business of theirs. Makes sense. So now we have gotten to understand about your journey, some real investment banking related insights. Now let's talk about how one can upskill for like getting into the industry, some interview related things, some skill development points, right? So what three technical skills or soft skills would you say are the most important if someone wants to get into IB?
Well, soft skills, may I would say that you should know whatever you've done, anything and everything, getting your basics right. That is a very key thing because any business you want to understand, anything you want to do, anything you want to build, you have to have your basics right. Nobody is going to come and teach you the formulas, where which thing is going to go, iska matlab kya hai, uska matlab kya hai. Nobody is going to sit on your head and do that. They expect you to have that ready.
Right.
So you should have your basics clear. Secondly, financial modeling is one thing which I feel is very overhyped,
Okay.
which is not the
Yeah.
part, because that is very easy to learn. You can easily crack it, and that is not the only thing which we do.
I wanted to break that myth, but yeah, you got to that early,
Yeah.
right? My next question was on that only. Yeah, so please go ahead.
So financial modeling is something which you know, that is a plus point, but first get your basics right. If you don't know the formula, if you don't know what a gross margin EBITDA is, then how will you put it in the financial model? It's of
Right.
no
Makes
point
sense.
at all. So I would say work on your technical skills on the formulas part, analyzing businesses, getting deeper into a specific industry. That would also help. It will take you
Right.
a long way ahead.
Correct. So clearing your basics, working on financial model and industry level
Not
knowledge.
working on only financial model.
Yeah, not working on only models, but yeah,
Yeah.
having that understanding of
Yes,
how
yes.
everything is linked with one another, formulas, how is it working.
Yeah.
Makes sense, makes sense. Now, I mean, these are the skills that every analyst would need, right? On the technical side. Now, when we talk about soft skills, what would you tell? Like, these three are the non-negotiables.
Well, in the soft skills part, I would say you should be very persuasive.
Mm-hmm.
Not ekdam like just get into selling, but you should understand the other point of view, and then maybe, mend your ways to meet a person midway.
Mm-hmm.
That is something which I think would be the best thing in soft skills.
Mm-hmm.
That is something which will help you in the sales part as well.
Right.
So that is technically selling only.
Correct. But yeah, in a subtle way, not
Yeah, yeah.
very pushy.
Not just going ke bhai ye le lo,
Yeah,
वैसा नहीं.
because the other person should feel that they are getting value from
Yeah,
you, right?
correct.
It should not feel कि यार ये
It
बेचने
is
आया.
something which they are missing and which will add value to them. You have to make them realize that. Then only it will go through.
Okay.
Even if they say no, try to convince them once, twice. If not, then let
Yeah,
it go.
then let go. Makes sense. So number one is persuasion. Number two, three.
Be confident in whatever you're saying, because the other guy, they have 100 things going on. They will hardly give you a minute or two of their day. So
Right.
whatever you're doing, it should be persuasive enough for them to get their interest in that whole busy schedule. They're giving you 1 or 2 minutes. So you should be really catching.
And final one.
I think these two are the
These
only
two
thing
are the
that
one.
comes to
If
my
if
mind.
you master this, then you are investment
Yeah,
guy. You can
the
crack it.
confidence is key. Nothing
Right,
else
right.
is
Yeah, I mean, makes sense, makes sense. So now when we talk about like, let's boil down to analyst, okay? Not from associate level, but if someone is getting into the industry, they'll mostly start as an analyst. So what separates a average analyst from a great analyst, right? You would have managed team of analysts under you, so you would see कि यार this analyst is doing good or this is doing very good. So what's the differentiator?
just going one step ahead. That is always the differentiator. When I'm asking you to prepare a financial model, if you do the analysis also, okay, by XYZ thing is increasing, this is a dip in the margins, this is what is happening, this can be the potential reason. All that extra information which I will go through and find out, if you already go through and give it to me, that is always a plus point, and that is something which never goes unnoticed.
Right,
Even
right.
if you're wrong, it is okay, because you're learning, you've done something extra, so the other guy will always correct you, help you, teach you. That is something which is always encouraged.
Makes sense, makes
Just
sense.
take a step forward, go ahead, do something of your own.
Right. So not just ticking the box of कि यार ये task मिला, I'll just complete this and
Correct.
submit my things, but
Yeah.
taking one more step, putting efforts on your end, giving thought to things कि यार
Exactly.
अच्छा so this is
Take
some
some extra effort, do some hard work, smart work to be
smart
honest. Not
work,
just
yeah.
donkey work. ये दिया ये खत्म करो. वैसा
Right, right. Got it, got it. So now makes sense. This is perfect. So you studied at NM, right? You completed your graduation. You did not do CFA alongside your graduation, right? So was academic enough for you to step into investment banking? I mean, you did internships as well, but what other knowledge did you acquire alongside with your internship that led you, like gave you a step up for getting into investment banking?
Well, I was deeply involved in the markets. I used to read about a lot of things, read about a lot of companies, going through annual reports, investor presentations, etc.
Okay, okay.
So I just developed a expertise for a particular sector, and I knew how things are working.
Okay.
It is not that just some bookish knowledge. If you have, things are going to help you out. You need to have practical knowledge of how actually things happen in the world, because what is taught in the book versus what actually happens, they are two completely different things.
Right.
So I would say, along with your bookish knowledge, you should also have some practical knowledge on your hand. Go through annual reports, go through investor presentations, track companies. If there is something which you like, a specific industry, specific thing, like if you're good with automobiles or fashion is something what is of your interest, track that sector, track those companies, see how things are going. That is anytime welcome, and it will put you ahead of the other people who are interviewing for the same role.
Makes sense.
And bookish knowledge is also important. I'm not saying no, because I'm also pursuing CFA along with my working. So
Okay. Now that you've gotten into industry, this and additional add-on knowledge from CFA is definitely something that would add value. Makes sense. So there are a lot of non-target school graduates who want to get into investment banking, but they feel very underconfident. Yeah, this is not possible for me. I mean, they only hire from IIMs, SRCC, but I mean, there are a lot of boutiques firms that have developed. So what would you advise them? Like, how should they see investment banking world from a perspective that, yeah, it is possible for you?
if you are feeling underconfident, or if you're not so welcomed into the industry because of your college or something, I would say take my route, go through that DD evaluations, all those departments or all those company, all those roles, and then you can move forward to investment banking. Use that as a stepping stone, because that is something which is a part of the investment banking role.
Makes sense.
That process, not even the role, I would say, because when the deal is going through, they eventually have to do the DD. So that is something which is linked to it, though not directly, indirectly. And then you can get exposure. You'll understand businesses also in that. That will always put you forward. Because you know how certain things impact the valuation, what is the liability going to be, and if the client is meeting some expectations or not. So that is something which you can learn over there, and then maybe move into the investment banking role.
Right. So get some allied roles, and then you can step in. And this will also give you clarity whether investment banking is for you or not. Right. I mean, it looks very fancy from the outside, right? But when you get some exposure to it, you realize whether it is for you or not. Right. You have to put in huge amount of hours, and you got to have that mindset, right? Be ready for it. It's not very easy. So if you just throw some light, like what are some challenges that someone could face when they get into the industry?
Well, the big part is investment banking. Outside the world, people are just associated with that big name. Oh, he's in investment banking, he's an investment banker, this, that. The real world is completely different. Firstly, you just think that if you're an investment banker, you will not have any rejection and all. Your every day is full of rejection. But it's from the companies.
Right. Not personal, but companies.
Yes. So that is something which you have to face every day. And then long hours, doing the same grunt work again and again, because the deal, to get into a deal execution phase, takes a lot of time. The deal origination part, wherein you are repeatedly scouting for targets and all that, that also becomes a repetitive process. So that is something which might also get frustrating for you. So there's a lot of things which can get frustrating, and it looks fancy on the outside, but on the inside you still have to keep pushing forward.
Makes sense. So when someone says it's very, very dynamic, I mean, initially it might be dynamic, but yeah, some work do get repetitive, right? There are definitely meetings and alls where you get to learn a lot of things, but yeah, behind that you have to put in the same efforts, right?
Yeah, so your work is going to be that same thing only, which you're going to do, like approaching people, making the model, making the IM, etc. But every company you work on is different. So even any model, if you're making, let's say today you're working on a manufacturing company, you will value that on an EBITDA basis. Wherein if you're working on some tech company or something like that, which is an asset light company, you would directly value that on PE basis. You will see different things in that company, wherein for a manufacturing company, you would see some other aspects. So that is something which will be dynamic, which will be new every time, which you will be learning.
Makes
but
sense.
at the end of the day, you're making the model, you're valuing the company. So that process is going to be
working on Excel and everything remains the same, but yeah, the numbers might change, the industry might change.
Correct. So Microsoft will be your best friend.
Yeah. So makes sense. So how should one learn Excel? Like, is it compulsory to learn all the formulas, or is it okay if I know basic formula, but I know more on the financial side of things, right? What is your take? Like, I should be pro in charting and doing all of the charts, graphs, or is it okay if I know the basics?
If you know the basics, that's completely fine, because you can anytime Google it and then do it. That is not an issue.
Right.
But basic formulas and everything you should know.
Correct. Because a lot of people are approaching, I want to learn advanced Excel, I want to learn this Power BI software where they'll do data analysis, charting and things. I always say them, first you learn the 3 financial statements, understand how everything is linked with one another, and then you move on to learning all of the other things, right? This part is going to be more valuable rather than the charting and graphing.
If you're good with Excel and basic numbers, analyzing things, you would not need Power BI or something like that, charting or anything. You can just look at the P&L balance sheet, and you can make a lot of conclusions over there only. You would not need to see a chart or something. That is just some fancy things which you would put in an IM for it to look more pleasing.
Makes sense.
But for yourself, you would just look at the Excel and you have 10 questions ready.
Got it, got it. Now talking on the IM side, right? It's a very important skill to have, making
Yeah.
presentations. So how should one learn this presentation skills, right? I mean, because not a lot of resources are available which teaches you what are the things that you need to put into it. So if you could just break down a simple IM, like what is the structure, and if someone wants to learn it, how do they go about it?
Well, IMs, they completely differ from company to company, deal to deal, etc.
Right.
Whatever you're pitching, it depends on that. But generally, it's the same flow. Like you give a basic overview, then you introduce the company's journey, etc., key milestones, key management, any manufacturing facility or any tech what they have. You introduce that, and then you come down to their brief financials, etc., and then the valuation part or anything else which you want to put, investment rationale, for example. That is a typical IM which goes through. But again, that is something which is subjective to each and every company. You will make a different IM, you might take a different design or something. So that is completely okay. You just have to be very creative in that.
Right,
So
right.
you can keep, there are a lot of listed companies who put their IMs out. You can go through them. If you like something, just download it, keep it for your reference,
Got it.
or go through any other presentation. Use Canva, use any other app, use AI.
Right, right. Nowadays, AIs can also create
Yeah,
good
yeah.
slides and good charts. So you need to be creative, right? You need to. So I personally think it's a lot of storytelling that you do through this IMs, right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
you need to convey what's the point of each slide behind each of them, right?
An
Because
IM is something which the guy is going to see in your absence. You're just handing over the IM to that guy. It has to be self explanatory for the
makes
person to
sense.
judge it completely.
Right, right.
After that, they will come with doubts. That is okay. But after looking at an I am completely blank. I don't know what the company does. It does not make
Makes
sense.
sense. Got it, got it. Yeah. So it should convey story on its
Yeah,
own. Got
correct.
it, got it. Perfect. So what are some common mistakes that you have seen that people make when they enter into investment banking, which hampers their career growth ahead?
Well, I think first of all, anybody entering investment banking, they think like they know it all and it is going to be very easy. You just have to value companies. I know DCF, I know this, I know that.
Right.
It's not how it works. Well, that is the last stage, or that is just hardly a day or two in the investment banking
Makes
journey.
sense. Correct.
You need to keep developing a lot of skills like reading between the lines. Let's say today you are listening to an earnings call of a listed company. The management is saying something, but it means something else. The question was something else. They are answering it in a different
Okay.
way. You have to read between the lines. You have to be very analytical, is what I would say.
Okay, okay. And people are assuming that it's just numbers that they need to look.
That is the
That
last part,
that is the
because
last one.
first you will converse, you will understand things, then it
Right.
comes to numbers, and
Makes
then what
sense.
the numbers are telling the story versus what you are saying. Like today I
Right.
am saying मेरा पैट आ जाएगा इतना, but from my numbers you will see कि नहीं हो रहा है possible.
Got it, got it. Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. I mean, the listening skill is very, very important, right? Because when I was into personally working in investment banking, a lot of times you are with your seniors, you are getting feedback upon things. They just give you a lot of feedback, and at a point of time you are not making notes, and then you miss out on things, and that then you don't make the changes and things, and then you listen the
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the
You
uh,
have to keep
after
listening to the
effects of not
recordings and
working on things. So yeah, I mean, listening, making notes, these are all
yes.
the habits, and that would help you develop the reading between the lines wala thing, attention to detail, right? Because you'll not miss out on
Correct,
things.
correct. Plus, it gives you a lot of knowledge. Like what a promoter says about the business, about the industry, you will not find it anywhere else.
Got it.
So that is something which is very important, I would say. And then maybe if ex promoter is seeing something in that particular industry, you meet Y person. Again, you can use all of that knowledge to the Y person also when you're conversing with them.
Right. So it's kind of a pattern recognition that you do, right? What is being asked, what is answered, and whether it is up to the mark or
Yeah,
not.
is
Whether
it
it's
correlating? Is the industry like
correct.
that? Because if even if one person says he's speaking for his company, they might be the top players in that industry. But some other guy would say something else. So you have to take certain pointers, leave certain things. You'll get a better idea of the industry.
Makes sense.
That is how you'll have to be more analytical.
Yeah, and you need to also do background check, right? If you are going for a meeting with, as you mentioned, for reading some con calls which are for XYZ industry company. So
Correct,
make
correct.
sure that you understand what's happening in that industry, whether it is resonating to what
Do
the
your homework at home
yeah, do your
basically.
homework.
Just
Yeah.
don't show up के बताओ आप क्या करना है.
हाँ Makes
You
sense.
have to go through their numbers, what they've done, where have they come from, is there any problem, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Then only you can go do your
Or else
homework.
everything will be convincing for you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever they say, you'll
Yes.
accept it. Right. So have some thoughts on which are like controversial, like why is this guy saying this thing? Like it's not matching with. Makes sense. So I mean, yeah, these kind of qualities definitely investment bankers do need, and if you are trying to get to analyst position, this is something that you need to develop.
Correct.
Makes sense. Right. So now moving on to next part, which is like your career growth, right? Lot of people, like not your career growth, but overall career growth that people can get in investment banking, right? So lot of people assume that I just get need to get into investment banking. I just need a job and then I'll grow to the best of positions. So how should one approach investment banking as a long term journey, right? And I also want to come down to your career growth, right? What are you planning ahead? Like how do you see yourself in this industry?
Well, speaking for other people first, I would say that once you get into an industry, just try to get to know a lot of more things. Like if you've joined a bulge bracket, then maybe try to move around different departments, take transfers, or at least talk to people to know what they are doing versus what you are
Makes
doing.
sense.
If you're in a boutique firm, try to do everything what you're getting where you can get your hands on,
Right.
because then only you will understand what is something which you like, what is something which you can do every day, and then build a career in that domain.
Got it. Right. So it's not just approaching a single job, right?
Correct,
And
correct.
looking it at as a long term perspective thing. Got it. And yeah, coming to your career growth. So you are currently as an associate at Boutique Investment Bank. So how do you see yourself growing in the industry?
Well, I am just still trying out a lot of things. I have done M&A over the past 2 years and also worked on fundraising part. So I'm just still looking to make a future in this side only, the sales side. I'm not keen on entering the buy side, which is PE, or something like that.
Okay.
So that is as of now what I have decided. Let's see how it goes.
Makes sense. Now, coming to use of AI, like I mean, when we talk about career, a lot of people think that it's going to get extinguished. Every career is going to be taken up by AI. So, what's the impact of AI in investment banking? Right? Are investment bankers actually using it? Not using it?
Well, we certainly do use it. Research has become very easy
Mm-hmm.
through AI. Anything you want, you can just ask them. They will also list down the sources. They will summarize everything. So
Mm-hmm.
that is really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, any earnings call you've attended or you've missed, they can easily make a summary of what has been told, how the company
Right.
is performing, etc. So that all work has been narrowed down, which frees up more time for us to go through a lot of more things.
Mm-hmm.
So it is obviously helping us. There is no thing like it will completely eliminate our jobs, because at the end of the day, we have to analyze things, we have to draw conclusions. They are
Mm-hmm.
just narrowing things down for us.
Makes sense.
And you
Makes
can
sense.
also use them to again do the creative part, like make the IMs, one pages, teasers, etc. Whatever you want.
Got it. So, like, if you are an analyst, it's not that your job is going to be taken up by AI, because someone is needed to work with the AI, right?
Correct,
It's
correct.
not replacing you, but the roles that would be needed at analyst position. Let's assume pehle it would be like 5 people. Now it can be narrowed down to three,
Two, three, yeah.
two, three roles,
Yes,
right?
because AI will free up a lot of time for them.
Yeah, makes sense. So more pitches can be created. So it's kind of the opportunities are going to be there, right? You will get more pay as well, because now it's something that you are doing for 5 people, right? But you need to be creative. You need to know what you are going to put out through this AI,
Correct.
right?
And you
So
should know how to use AI also.
right.
That is also very important. And use it to your leverage, or just upskill yourself through AI also.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Makes sense. Now coming to the next point, which is on salary expectation, right? And I think most of the viewers would be waiting for this question, like what, because investment banking is fancied for like
The
huge
huge pay,
pay,
yeah.
fixed variable bonuses at 100 to 100 percentage. So what would be a realistic expectation for someone who's entering as an analyst in a boutique investment bank, right? Like a range, not a specific number, but if he's like working for 1 2 years as an analyst, how much can he start at, and how much can he or she grow in this?
Again, that depends on a lot of factors, like where
Right.
you're coming from, what is your educational background, etc. But for a boutique firm, I would say in the fixed component, anywhere between 8 to 15 would be good enough.
As an analyst,
Yeah, in a
right?
boutique firm.
Right. And this is including your variable, or variable is
No,
separate?
fixed part.
Fixed part.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the percentage of variable that ranges in these kind of?
That depends on what kind of a year the company has had. have had. So your variable can go like right from 0 to 100%.
Okay,
It's completely
100% is
different.
also possible in
Yeah,
this kind of setups. But yeah, how many deals you've done, right? Your performance in
your
those deals.
performance, your department's performance, any deals which have actually gone through, even if you've performed very good, the deal has not gone through,
Then it
money is
does not
not
make
come in, how
sense.
will we pay you?
Makes sense, absolutely. So yeah, this industry definitely rewards your efforts, right? But
Correct.
yeah, the efforts should also bring an outcome for the company
Exactly.
to
Yeah, for
so
them to
that
reward you.
yeah, so that you reap your benefits.
Yeah.
Got it, perfect. So yeah, that clears most of the sections that we had for today, right? We went through your journey, we went through some investment banking experiences, how one can upskill for getting into investment banking, and we also discussed on AI skills building. Now let's wrap up this entire section with rapid fire, right? So
Okay.
these are short questions. I mean, you can take your time to elaborate upon it, but if you can, like, whatever you wish, just be comfortable answering in any way you like. So what's one most underrated skill in investment banking?
I would say selling, because a lot of people don't know investment banking actually is just an elite marketing or sales job. So
Right.
selling.
So hidden salesperson,
Yeah.
right? So next is IMs or financial models. What's your go-to?
Financial models, they tell a lot about the company. IMs can be decorative, they will paint a different picture, but the numbers tell you the reality.
Makes sense. One finance book every person who's watching should read.
Well, I would say Psychology of Money and The Richest Man in Babylon.
Okay. How do you build wealth? Right, once
Yeah.
you get into this high stakes industry. Okay, so coffee or energy drink, what's your go-to?
I am a chai person, so chai.
Acha, chai lover. Got it. One thing people misunderstand about investment banking.
That it's a very fancy job. Once you get in there, everything will just come to you. It's not like that.
Right.
You have to do all the grunt work, even if you're in the industry. And there'll be a lot of rejections, so be prepared for that.
Makes sense. Amazing. So one stressful part of an analyst life. I mean, you are an associate, so you can give analyst and associate both.
Well, just the deal execution part, wherein there's a lot of work which comes up, a lot of things happening simultaneously, plus coordinating with a lot of people. That can be stressful at times.
Right. So you as an associate, your work is to coordinate and get the work done. But as an analyst, you have to do the work.
Yeah.
So managing multiple things on an analyst level, but getting the work done
As
on
an
an associate.
associate, also, you will
Yeah,
also certainly
definitely.
have to get a few things done, because
Right.
even the analyst is overworked, so it will come down upon you.
Correct. You have to review, you have to give changes, and you also sometimes have to put in inputs into
Correct.
things. Makes sense. So, habit that has helped you grow in this career.
Well, that not give up attitude, I would say.
Okay. Important quality that interviewers see in interns or analysts just getting into the industry.
Build a certain expertise on a specific sector. That is
Okay.
something which will give you an edge over the others.
Okay, got it. One thing you wish you knew in college that you know right now.
Investment banking is just a fancy title.
Don't run after it.
Yeah.
Make a wise choice. Okay. So, what's your go-to? IPOs, private placements, or M&A?
Anything which involves equity related stuff, I would go for that. Be it IPOs, PE, or even M&A.
Okay. So that is not something that you
Yeah.
fancy about. Okay, makes sense. And finally, one or more final advice that you would give out to viewers who are listening to this entire podcast.
Again, I would just repeat the few things which I told. Get your basics right. That is really very important.
Okay.
Develop some expertise in a certain sector. That is really key, and that will put you forward in any interview.
Makes sense. Got it. Perfect. So I guess that is like a wrap up for this today's session. I guess lot of insights that we have discussed through your journey, how one should upskill themselves for getting into the industry, what are some of the mistakes that they should avoid, and a very fancy term, like, you have repeated a lot of time that investment banking is lot of
Yeah.
fancied from the outside, but it's not that glossy in the inside. Definitely, it's a lot of dynamism that you get to work with high stakes, but yeah, you need to put in efforts to reap those benefits, right? So I guess the takeaways that I have gotten is you just put in your efforts, right? You learn a lot of things once you get into the industry also. There are not a It's not something that everything will come to you, right? And then definitely money will take care of itself,
Yes.
right?
Money is the last portion you have to take care of, because if you've done well, you will definitely get rewarded in any company which you're working for.
Makes sense. So, all right, that's the wrap up for today's Bankers Mindset podcast. Thank you, Deepam, for joining in. Hope you had a good time.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to the next round.
Amazing. Yeah, definitely we'll keep you updated on the next
Yes,
one.
thanks.